Now we're learning something.
It's great. It's great, and yeah, you could probably start to see why I love it so much.
English language teaching. Under the covers.
Hello and welcome back to ELT Under the Covers Teachers React, where we look at the good, the bad, the ugly of the teaching clips on the internet and we give our expert opinions. Today, we're following on from our series of looking at old children's television presenters and their educational benefits of those shows. And today we thought we might look at something a little bit more modern, and we're going to be looking at Justin Fletcher in Something Special. But first, introductions. I'm Neil of Team Teacher.
Hello, everybody. It's Professor Reach.
Justin Fletcher is the man behind Mr. Tumble, which is a character for BBC CBeebies, which is very famous and current in the UK. He has a lot of different shows, but one particular show that I like and my kids follow along with is a show called Something Special. Yeah, he's actually focused on a lot of special educational needs. So what I like about this is that he uses, and he doesn't just use it in Something Special, he also uses it as Mr. Tumble and all the other shows that he does on CBeebies. He uses Makaton sign language, and that is to better enable and be more inclusive to children that have like delayed learning and communication difficulties. So that is kind of the big thing with this, and that I've noticed a lot recently, especially as being a parent with young kids, is that there is a big push with sign language, and I think it's actually recently just become an option in language studies in the UK within the national curriculum. And what I really like about it, because what I've used bits and bobs with my kids, is it gives them another outlet to communicate. And I see it in the same way as, that we try and teach a language, but also when we as language teachers, we kind of have that background with communicative language teaching, with the focus being on communication, maybe a little less though than the actual language. It ties closer to that, so when I think of language, I often think more just trying to help people communicate, and that could be in the use of actual verbal language or the sign language that he's using here, or stuff like music, dance, art, just ways to kind of express yourself. And I find with kids, the more ways that they have to do that, or just people in general, the more ways you have to express yourself, the more regulated you tend to be. And we can kind of go into a little bit more of the background on that, maybe in this video or another video, but I wanted to see kind of what I think is a good representation of tackling this kind of weird children's TV dynamic of having that presenter talking to the kid, but then it just kind of being like one way. So how can they maximize and optimize that so the kid gets the most amount of benefit?
What I'm not quite clear on with the sign language thing is what the standard is, because it's my understanding that there's several different standards, including a kind of newer one that wasn't even intended for deaf people. It was more just complementary sign language for, as you were talked about, for kind of helping people learn. I'm never really sure, because I'm quite interested in learning one of them, but I'm never quite sure which one
that is.
I should learn.
The one that we are going to be seeing today is this new one, which is the Makaton. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Maybe I should sign it. It's designed for communication and language development with children and adults that have communication and learning difficulties. They might not necessarily be deaf, but they have restrictions, maybe physically or mentally, and it's just easier for them to do it this way than to communicate in other ways. If you're listening out there and you didn't like that description, please leave some comments below and explain it a little bit further. And we'd love to have you on, and we can go into this a little bit more, because it's fascinating, because there is this Makaton sign language, and then there's this British sign language and American sign language, and there's different sign language per different cultures. I'm not even sure it's just restricted to countries. It's maybe cultures. Interestingly, it's not necessarily the same as, so you have British English and British Sign Language. It's that, grammar structures, talking about future, past, not necessarily, we kind of think, oh, well, it's just we're using the British words for this, but it's not necessarily like a translation from one thing to another. Like, this means this means that. It's literally kind of an interpretation. It's very interesting.
That makes perfect sense to me, because it's kind of like if you compare speaking to content words, so text to speaking, and maybe if you took the text out of speaking, so you just had the sounds, then it wouldn't necessarily make sense to compare grammar structures. Like if I communicated with you by, for example, going like, right? It's like, it doesn't really make sense to talk about, oh, well, did you mean that in present simple or, past perfect,
Yeah.
It's like, no, I just meant it's like, so it's a different mode of communication, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is probably why Elon Musk caused some aggravation last month when I believe he tweeted something along the lines of, if you've got subtitles, why do you need sign language? So, yeah, obviously it's a different mode of expression.
Yeah, I mean, we separate that into 4 categories within the language teaching, right? We have the writing, reading, speaking, listening, and they're divided into speaking, listening, writing, reading. I can't remember what do we call those? Where
the skills.
Yeah, the skills. No, but we kind of put them into 2 sections when it's
receptive and productive.
Yeah, receptive, productive. But don't we divide the skills as well, where you can just solely focus on listening, speaking, and solely focus on reading, writing? I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, I see what you mean. Literacy and... Yeah, I'm not sure what we call speaking and listening together, actually.
Yeah, it's got a word.
Yeah, literacy is the other one.
Yeah, but
audio.
It's it makes maybe. Well, I don't know. I can understand his point, but I don't think he's really reflected and thought as deeply. He's probably off the cuff, because you don't learn to read and write before you do the listening and speaking.
Yeah, right.
So it could be, and for me, it's almost like it's easier. I'll probably go out on a limb on this and say it's easier for you to learn the sign language, something like Makaton, than to learn to speak and listen. That's kind of how I kind of
it's
see
easier than learning how to read.
No, speaking. And
it's easier than learning how to speak. I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably where this idea of helping it of helping children to communicate comes from, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. What I would maybe not easy, or it's complementary. Whatever, it allows another means of communication, and that's what I'm all about, getting the communication going on.
Yeah, totally. If it can make communication more effective,
Yeah.
and for children or for anyone, then yeah, that's actually why I'm interested in it as well.
Okay, so
Because I mean, especially if it's intuitive, because then it's like you could go to somewhere where you can't speak a word of their language, they don't speak a word of your language, but if you're using this intuitive sign language, it can only benefit what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, we use gestures.
Yeah, exactly.
We've lived in numerous different countries, and you know that when you first start and you've got that, you're at the beginning of this immersion of learning the language, that you're using a lot of gestures. I mean, we don't even we use it in our own country. Hi, goodbye, all this sort of jazz. And then we kind of also have to learn and understand that when we do different gestures, they mean different things in different cultures as well. So we kind of it's funny learning that. Like in Chinese, you don't do this in China because that's suggestive. That's a come here, big boy. So you'd kind of do this instead. So you don't do that to the kids. Otherwise, you're like, oh, this is gonna go a bit wrong.
What about, so you can't like do that?
Maybe you could do that, but if you do
Right,
this, because you do this, because
okay.
I've done this in like Canada. Come over here, kid.
Okay.
But you can't in China.
Yeah, I think I do it more like the martial arts thing. I do kind of a
you do a kata.
Like yeah, and then obviously I follow up with my next teaching move, which is a left hook to the jaw.
So you do the scorpion, get over here,
Get
and
over
then boom.
here.
Okay. So I just kind of see this like sign language and the different variations, and this focus with Makaton in being a kind of almost like a standardizing of gestures in a way, but going deeper.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Okay. Well, let's go in, and you can kind of see how it's utilized and the practice that he does.
Hello, Mr. Tumble.
Aha! It's my friends! Take your hand, give it a go. Move it around and say hello!
Okay. First impression.
Yeah, he's got a strong voice, hasn't he?
I don't like the voice.
You don't like the voice?
No, that's the Mr. Tumble voice. It's the hello everybody. It's kind of
Hello, everybody. I think he's got quite a lot of strength to it, though.
Yeah,
Take
but
your hand
I
and
don't
give it a
like it.
go.
I like enunciation. I think it's better, but I think it's obviously an in character thing. Sorry, you were saying something. Sorry.
Yeah, so it reminds me of the lady we saw on
Miss
YouTube
Rachel.
who did the milk. Miss Rachel, yes. Similar clothing style and similar energy in a way. I think hers was a little bit lower energy, but you can tell that there's a switch in both their heads, which is the do I care that I'm making a twat out of myself switch, and they turn that completely off and then go for it. And obviously that's what you have to do if you're going to do this character for kids. And I respect them for being able to do that.
Yeah. No, there's kids respond to certain things, and there's no way around it. Like, they prefer a higher voice. They prefer, strong colors. Like, I noticed, like I get teased by my family because like I will be talking with the kids, and we're playing around, and I'll kind of put on a higher energy and a higher voice, and they're like, oh, you sound like you sound like Mr. Tumble or Stephen Maggie or something like that. You're like, why are you making that? Because I'm like, because that's what they like. That's what they respond to. You know, when it's like a deeper, if I'm like, hey kids, let's sing a song, they're just like, but if I'm like, hey kids, let's sing a song, and you know they you know respond to that that tone.
What if you if you do like the Arnie voice, it doesn't work.
I'd have to be like, get to the chopper, get to the chopper. And I'd have to just do that accent.
If you don't sing a song, I'll be back.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it just reminds me of the video we did on Kindergarten Cop. You remember? And he's just talking to them, and he's like, "Who is your daddy? What does he do?"
Yeah.
Maybe if you'd gone and be like, "Hey kids, who is your daddy? And what does he do?"
Yeah, right. Yeah. So he's almost showcasing how that doesn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
interesting.
layers on this onion. Okay, let's keep spinning on.
Of course.
How are you? Hello. It's good to see you. I say hello to you and all your friends.
Spin past this.
I say hello. Hello, my friends.
Is it just me that...
Today,
My voice.
I've come here to the city of York to meet
I
my
love York.
friend Ethan. He's going somewhere special. And guess what? We can go too.
Oh,
And
so
I
this is him
wonder
being just himself.
What Mr.
Exactly.
Tumble is doing.
I didn't realise he did
I'm
that.
playing with my tumble tap.
The tumble tap.
Yeah, so he's going to explain it in a second, but
Right.
basically, that's why I said, you know, he's got the Mr. Tumble show where he's just, you know, doing this Mr. Tumble character in these wacky scenarios, you know, like pies in face, the kind of stuff that, you know, like Mr. Rogers talked about in those congressional hearings. He's like, oh, we can do a bit better than that. But this show is one that I really like that he does because it's based in reality. You know, it's him going to different places, doing different activities with different kids. And Mr. Tumble's kind of like this. It's almost like going to the neighborhood. If we were to make it an analogy to like Mr. Rogers, not analogy, but you know, comparison. And he kind of he gives the back and forth because he's kind of the person that kind of pushes the narrative forward of what they're trying to do. But you'll see he'll explain how it works between the two worlds.
Mr. Tumble.
Oh, yes! Now, what you have to do is tap a spot and you see a picture. Woohoo!
Justin and his friends are going to love that.
Oh, yes, they will.
Put it in the spotty bag then, Mr. Tumble.
Ooh, okay.
Don't forget the magic.
Magic?
Yes, the magic. To send the spotty bag to Justin and his friends.
Oh, yes. The magic, of course. Well, you are my friends, aren't you? So will you help me?
Take your finger, touch your nose, blink 3 times, and off it goes.
Take your finger and touch your nose. Blink 3 times, and off it goes.
I know. Oh, hello. I'm looking for Mr. Tumble's spotty bag. Have you seen it anywhere? What is over here? Oh, that. What? No, hang on a minute. What's over here?
Classic
Wait,
pantomime.
No, you're tricking me. Where is it? Behind me.
It's over there.
I never. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Right now, I wonder where are my friends? Let's go and find out, shall we? There's my.
Okay, so I just want to clarify a few things. The spotty bag thing is that is a device that they use in every episode of this. They always do the the magic to send it between these different places. And it's always different kids doing it. And I think that's important, as we saw with Mr. Rogers, that there's a consistency, like when he always goes into the house, he always changes out of his shoes, he sings the kind of same song or whatever. And it's a lot of it is geared for that interaction, even if it's not necessarily, right there, but, he's doing these kind of like call and response kind of thing. You do the magic, he's talking to the screen, he's talking to the kid, and he's like, oh, where is it? This kind of stuff that we saw with like Blue's Clues and Dora, where there's kind of this faux interaction. You'll see that a lot with this.
My friend Ethan with his big sisters. Hey, hello everyone.
Hello, I'm Ethan.
Hello, and this is Katie. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Justin.
Hi. Oh, and over here we have Amy. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Justin.
Now, Ethan, what have you got here? You've got a bag. Does this mean that you're going on holiday?
Yeah.
Really? Wow, how exciting. Hey, girls, are you going too?
No, Ethan's going on holiday with someone else he loves.
Ah, I see. Wow, I wonder who that is. Well, I bet Mr. Tumble knows. Do you?
Yeah.
Come on, let's have a look inside Mr. Tumble's Spotty
Bye.
Yeah, find out. Ethan, look, we've got Mr. Tumble's Tumble Tap. Wow, okay. Ethan, why don't you tap the spot? Good boy. Hang on a minute, who's this, Ethan? That is Grandma and... That's right, it's Ethan's Grandma and Grandad. Where are Ethan's Grandma and Grandad? Are they here? When you see them, wave or cheer. Well done, Ethan. You found your Grandma and Grandad. Can you see Ethan's Grandma and Grandad? Yes, there they are.
It's time to sign.
Ah, look.
Grandma and Grandad. You sign. Grandma and Grandad.
Can we just stop a moment?
Mama.
I have to say, I'm not sure if this video is going to go out before or after our critical analysis of Capitan Kangaroo.
Yeah.
But I've got to say that it's a stark contrast, isn't it? Because here we have something that is just all in context. It makes perfect sense. There's a logical order and it's really well presented. And it just shows me just how bad that Captain Kangaroo stuff was, that it was just all over the place and so confusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas here, it's all presented in a very, it makes perfect sense kind of way.
Yeah.
Now we're learning something.
It's great. It's great. And yeah, you could probably start to see why I love it so much is, you know, they do the context. They so they have the meaning, and then they kind of just like focusing, I guess, on form in which is kind of similar to what we do.
It is.
It's they have those like the flashcard things, and he's doing it himself, but you already know what those flashcards represent because they've already go over the context, and then they're having people demonstrate that. And it's not just random people, it's the audience. This, you know, like this kid here, this is who it's made for, and he's doing it. So, and, you know, they will do it multiple times, and it will just be, you know, with Justin, with another kid, there'll probably be another kid after this, and then it will be built upon throughout that episode. We'll keep spinning on, and you can see.
Good signing, James.
Grandma, Grandad.
Brilliant, Emmanuel.
Whoa! Look at Ethan go. He's very good on his scooter and very fast. Hello. But I don't think we can all get on that scooter to go on holiday, can we, Ethan? No. So I think we should have a look inside Mr. Tumble's Spotty. Yeah, bag, and find out how we're going to get there. Oh, look, it's the tumble tap. Now, if you tap the spot, that's it. Oh, wow. Look, it's Ethan's grandma and granddad's motorhome. It's called Rosie. Where's the motorhome? Is it here? When you see it, wave or cheer. Well done, Ethan. You found the motorhome. Can you see the motorhome? Yes, there's the motorhome.
It's time to sign.
Ah, look.
Motorhome. You sign. Motorhome.
Motorhome.
Well done, Yusuf.
Motorhome.
Presumably,
Wow,
that's
that
just
was
exactly
great,
a
Stevie.
compound of motor and home.
Hey,
Yeah, but if you look at the sign,
motor is
it's
that,
that it looks like
home.
sleep.
amazing motorhome.
I think this is where
Yeah.
it's a
Thank
place
you.
to
Come on in.
sleep.
Let's go inside and take a look,
Ah,
shall
I
we?
see.
Like a
So it's
sleep
like
vehicle.
a cart,
Exciting.
like vehicle where you
Wow,
sleep.
Ethan,
Yeah.
this is brilliant. Now, look over here, Ethan. Now, this here is the kitchen.
I think I see what you were saying
Open this
about
door here.
Mr.
What's
Tumble
that?
versus when he's
That's
just
right,
being
it's the
himself.
bathroom.
I much prefer when he's himself. Actually, I think that he's doing enough there.
Mhm.
But it's like with Mr. Tumble, it's like let's take it up to 11,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, and yeah, I can understand that, and I can understand the inclination to do that, especially in Britain when we've got like this history of panto and stuff like that. But as we saw with Mr. Rogers, you can be soft and slow and gentle, and kids respond to that, and it makes for clearer communication. I feel that it almost feels like when he does Mr. Tumble, it can be it feels a little bit condescending in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, they're kids, so we need to be a bit goofy and a bit silly.
Yeah, that's what I've always thought. But like you said, if they do respond to it,
Yeah. But I think it's you can have a lot of energy, but you don't have to be goofy. And it's a fine line, and he's got a lot of content to make, so I can understand with the Mr. Tumble stuff and leaning into that more. But completely hats off for doing something like this, which I think is just is grade A, and he's got a lot of rewards for this, and rightly so.
That's great. And then in we go, into this very comfy lounge. You going to sit down with me? Yeah. It's lovely and comfy, isn't it? You know what? This motorhome is just like a real house. Yeah. Apart from... Let's have a look, shall we? It's on wheels. That means we can go and stay wherever we want.
So they're learning, but they're also kind of seeing about the real world. Like how he would go, like Mr. Rogers would go and visit these different places, and he'd experience it with the kids. He's kind of doing something similar here.
Yes, Grandad, we're ready to go. Woohoo! Ethan's family are waving goodbye. Ethan really loves his family. He's going to miss them when he's away. I've got something to tell you. What he doesn't know is Ethan's family are going to surprise him later on. But shh, don't tell Ethan.
And it's so simple, isn't it? Like
exciting,
kids
isn't it?
would be like,
Going on
"Wow,
holiday?"
this is a motorhome." We forget that they
Yeah.
don't
Hey,
know
Ethan, are we
anything.
nearly there yet? it?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
So when Mr. Rogers would go visit a school or a crayon factory or go to the doctors, it's them kind of experiencing it for the first time, and then
What's that
you know,
noise?
Yeah.
You know what,
realizing
Ethan?
this is
It's
how you he's modeling how you
That's
deal with
right.
that in the real
It's
world.
time for a tumble tale. So why don't we call for Mr. Tumble after 3, okay? And why don't you join in too? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Mr. Tumble!
Hello,
Here he
Mr.
is.
Tumble.
Oh, hello.
Do you know where you're going?
No. Oh,
That was quite well done, I've got to say.
don't worry. I've got a map.
He is very good at it. Like, dropped the toy, stepped on it, and it was all done, like, very smoothly.
You're funny, Mr. Tumble.
Yes, I know.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to my new house. Woohoo! It's in Tumbleton.
Tumbleton?
Yes, I'm going with all of my family. Now, Woohoo!
Mr. Tumble, haven't you forgotten something?
Wait, no. Oh, yes, my map. Thank you.
Oh.
Is this your house, Mr. Tumble?
No. Yay. It's my friend, Lord Tumble. Look.
Lord of Tumble, okay. Brilliant.
Hello, Lord Tumble.
Oh, hello. And welcome to Tumbleton.
That's how you
This
say
your
hello.
new house,
Hello.
Lord Tumble?
Yes. Welcome to Tumble Towers.
Wow.
Bye,
Why
Lord
does this?
Tumble.
Why is this guy in the top hat wearing the clown suit? He's
Because
relatively normal, isn't
he's
he?
Tumble. He's a Tumble. All the
Well, he's
characters are Tumble characters, so they all wear the same stuff, but they'll just have different, like a wig on or glasses, or a chef's hat or whatever. See,
Oh, I see.
Hello. Hello there, Mr. Tumbles.
Hello, Fisherman Tumble.
Oh, hello.
Is this your new home, Fisherman Tumble?
Oh, yes. Now this is Tumble Harbour.
Mr. Tumble needs help finding his house.
Oh, I see. Well, I can help you. You see, you go over the hill and down the lane,
Ah, thank you, Fisherman Tumble.
right?
Hello, Grandad Tumble.
should we spin on a little bit from this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Found his house.
Yep. Ah, I love my new house, and I love Tumbleton. Woo!
So, is there a lot of repetition in these, or is it? just all-
The Tails stuff, no, it's just kind of like a kind of a bit of a daft story, you know, like in
Right.
between all the real life stuff. That's kind of the big difference I feel with this compared to something like Mr. Rogers, whereas
Yeah.
the Mr. Rogers stuff, when he goes to the land of make believe, and you know, like Daniel Tiger's there, they have that ongoing story throughout the week, but also that story is kind of reflected or reflects on the content of whatever a given episode it was. So, for example, if Mr. Rogers is talking about the mad that you feel during the episode in the real world, in the world of make-believe, maybe Daniel Tiger gets really angry for some reason, and, you know, like shouts, and then, you know, someone comes in and, you know, it's like, oh, we can't be shouting, you know, like, how does it, or someone shouts at him and he's like, oh, how does that make you feel and stuff. So it's kind of like, it's almost like an enactment of what was going on in the real world in the land of make-believe. Here I feel the links are a little less tenuous and a little less
little more tenuous,
a little less more tenuous, and it's just kind of like a little silly
just
interlude,
random tumble town stuff.
It connects, but it doesn't add to the layers in the same way that Mr.
Right.
Rogers stuff does.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think of that then, Ethan? It was good, wasn't it? Mr. Tumble is funny. Mr. Tumble makes Ethan laugh. Well, Ethan, look, we've arrived. Oh, and it's a very exciting place, but where are we? Why don't we have a look inside Mr. Tumble's Spotty bag? Good idea. Oh, and here's the tumble tap. Would you like to tap the green spot, Ethan? Good boy. What have we got there? It's a campsite, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's the campsite? Is it here? When you see it, wave or cheer. Well done, Ethan. You found the campsite. Can you see the campsite? Yes, there's the campsite.
It's time to sign.
Ah, look.
Campsite. You sign. Campsite.
Say,
Oh, that was really good, Radia.
camp site.
Fantastic, Ethan.
Again, we've got the real kids doing
Ethan
stuff.
and I
We
love it at the
mentioned that.
campsite,
Yeah.
don't we?
That was the only
Yeah,
thing,
and
the only
we love
positive
saying
thing that
hello
we
to
mentioned
everyone.
about Captain
Hello.
Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, and
But it
look,
is
there's a
good. The
dog,
real
Ethan.
footage stuff is
Hello,
good.
How are you?
And it seems to be relatively authentic
Hey,
as well, doesn't
Ethan,
it? I mean,
look
it's
over
not
there.
like
Off we
they
go.
haven't overly briefed people or overly scripted it.
Ethan
Yeah, they
loves
just keep it
making
simple.
friends at the campsite
And
going away
it's
with
not
his grandma
elaborate and
granddad.
flashy. It's
Hey,
just,
can we
you know,
get some food,
what you
Ethan?
see every day.
What
And
would
I
you
think
like?
that's what's great about it.
Nearly time
That is good.
for
That is a good
Ethan's
thing.
surprise.
Yeah.
And look,
It's not
here they
this
come now.
sensationalized everyday life. It's just
Ethan, look,
this.
it's your family.
Yeah, right.
I've had holidays like
Yeah,
this.
because ironically, like a lot of the stuff you see for
Spend time with
adults,
his
it's
family.
all fake,
Talking
isn't
of
it?
time,
Oh
I
God,
think
when you
it's
watch
time
something
to
like
quite
CW
ironic.
and, you know, like everyone's got like friends. How the hell did they, you know, spend all that money at all that time at the coffee shop, and how did they afford that rent in those giant places in New York?
Yeah.
It's just it's totally unreal and gives completely unreal expectations. Whereas this is what it is. This is what it's like in England. I've had numerous parties like this.
Oh, you know what? That means it's time to send the spotty bag back to Mr. Tumble. Are you ready, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Take your finger and touch your nose. Blink 3 times, and off it goes.
Magic.
Aha! My spotty bag! Thank you!
Mr. Tumble, you are funny. You're our friend.
Oh, and you are my friend! We're all friends!
We're all friends.
We're friends! Good friends! Such a lot of lovely friends. Always
There's
there
generally
to
a song
care
in,
and share
and it's
its true. It's fun.
Generally
Yeah,
a pretty
kids-
easy song as well.
We're
Kids do love
friends.
songs.
Good friends. Such a lot of lovely friends. Always there to care.
Yeah,
and
it's true, isn't it? And these things, I remember as a
It's
kid,
fun
these
to be
blooming
a
songs
friend
do stick in
to
your head.
you.
And
I
so,
know you
in
feel
terms
the
of
same way too.
vocabulary
It's fun
acquisition, it is
to
actually a good
be
thing.
a friend to you.
I always remember one which was like, "What did we see on our way to school today?"
Goodbye, goodbye.
That was the only line in the song. Other than that, it just showed like clips of like
I say goodbye.
video clips of stuff.
I'm happy that you came. I say goodbye. Please come back. Please come back. Please come back.
I think this is the same every episode. I would have liked the new song every episode. I would have liked to have seen the signing along with it, but you know, I think it's great. And you know, to think that they would be doing like this, I don't know, like every week or something like that. It's, you can think the amount of time and effort to put it in. So I don't want to seem too harsh, because I think, you know, you're grading something that puts a lot of time and effort in. But you know, Mr. Rogers did it. But that was the only thing that he'd doing, whereas this is just one thing of the, you know, daily hours of content that he would do with, you know, CBBS back in the day. I'm not sure how much he does nowadays, but yeah, it's
Hours of content.
hours
Daily?
hours. Yeah, do you know, like they'd be doing live stuff. I don't think they do live stuff
Really?
now anymore, but yeah.
Because I was just imagining like the guy must be getting paid a lot for that.
Oh God.
Because I feel like he's doing a really good, like, high quality job, and yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not
So,
sure.
I mean, I'm just surprised that they were doing hours of content a day, because that would be incredibly demanding, I think,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
keep that up.
I don't know how much he does that nowadays, but I believe that they did have times. Do you know, like when we used to watch, you know, Saturday morning TV and they would have like live stuff? Do you know, like
Yeah.
like the
Oh, yeah,
presenters,
yeah.
Phil Schofield, and you know, like
Yeah, Motormouth and Ghost Train and all that.
yeah, and it would just be like a live studio thing set up, and then, you know, there'd be like bits in between, you know, videos for you to watch of like the new Turtles or whatever. That's kind of what they were doing back in the day. I'm not sure how much they do that now, but you know, like
But that was just once a week, wasn't it?
yeah,
for
but
those
he was doing it
shows?
like every day.
Every day. Wow.
Yeah. Weekdays. But I think now there's enough content that he can have a bit of a break. But yeah, hats off to you, Mr. Fletcher. He does great, and I'd love to hear more about, you know, like how much that Makaton charity helps out.
Yeah.
You know, like, do they script this? Does he script this? Does he have a behind the scenes person like Mr. Rogers had Margaret McFarland? You know, that had all that. She was
yeah.
like the educational mastermind, I guess, behind a lot of the Mr. Rogers stuff. I wonder if he has something like that, or if it's something that he puts together by himself. And if it is just his one-man show, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's
This is
insane.
the obvious answer to this is that we need to get him on the show.
Yeah.
So we will do you the honor, Mr. Fletcher, of extending a prestigious invitation to ELT Under the Covers. Well done.
Yeah.
You have
Tumble
received
under the
your
covers.
invitations. I'm sure we will do our best to fit you in to our busy celebrity packed schedule. It would be amazing if he would like to come on and talk about it. I would love to talk to him about it, because even whatever he has to do with the show, you know, he's going to be super passionate about it. He's not just an actor. He's someone who is involved in this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be super interesting to hear his story.
You know what came to mind when I was when I kind of came across this sort of stuff, and the amount of time that he puts into doing this kind of charity work and driving awareness and inclusion. It reminds me of John Cena. Do you know, like, he was doing all that Make the Wish stuff, and he's like, no matter where he is, if someone's like, oh, we've got to make a wish, he's like, yep, I'm there. 12 hours on a flight, just in a show, WrestleMania, biggest day. We've got a Make the Wish kid. Yep, where? Just send me there. I kind of feel like he's kind of doing the similar thing where he's like, yep, let's get them in, whoever, get it in, bring them in, whatever. We'll find a way to make it inclusive. It feels like that, and I think that there's a lot of kind of railing against in recent times, like representation, inclusion, and I think this is a really great example of it done well, and it not done just kind of like in a virtue signaling kind of way of like, this is how you make it more inclusive for all the kids. So
what, one of the things I really liked about it is it wasn't like, oh, hello, little Sammy, and little Sammy, you've got like hearing difficulties, haven't you? Or something like that,
Wish you would
like,
get.
There was no.
Please explain that to the world. And it's almost it's almost like they're the entertainment for that. They're the educational entertainment for this section of the show.
Right. Or they're just explicitly pointing out, look, we've got like people with special educational needs on our show. I think it was nice that they just basically they don't mention it at all. No. Just carry on with obviously some catering for SEN, but there's no explicitness of it. That for me is, when you spoke about sometimes it's just ham-fistedly put in and it's obvious pandering and ticking boxes and stuff. This is an example of not ticking boxes.
Yeah,
just doing it, and it's good.
And it's great. I wish more shows would take this approach. I can understand how it would be difficult to do that within like a narrative structure, without it unless there's characters within that kind of demand that kind of inclusion. And a lot of kind of the legacy stories that we have maybe don't have that an inclusive kind of character within it, so it does feel ham-fisted. But like new stories, could work great with the kids. But I think that's for me, I see that as like almost like a new market, a new opportunity to do something different, to not just kind of retell the same old stories, like the Disney, not kind of move away from that Disney model of just like, oh, what do we have here? Jungle Book again and again and again and again and again and again and again. A new story that involves some characters with SEN related characteristics that make sense to the story. But yeah, I can see how it's difficult with narrative, but with like presenting and doing stuff for kids with learning, I don't see the problem of doing just having it in, just having like Makaton sign language in. When you're doing kind of science experiments, make sure that there's kids in there that there's an inclusivity to it, to show kind of like how someone would do that experiment a bit different or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it just has to be some considerations. But I do really love how it's just there, and I can imagine it's across the board. So whatever kid is watching this, they can just watch it. There's no adjustments needed.
Yes. Good point. No adjustments needed. Yeah, it is one of those things. That's an interesting point as well. It is one of those things where, it might be the fact that it's for kids that it works, actually. Mm-hmm. It might be a lot more difficult to do something like this for adults, but it is something that I think would work for everyone. You know, it's not like you need a special educational need to get something out of the program, right?
Yeah,
Like the program is just there and it just works for everyone.
yeah,
And that's great.
yeah. It's not made. It's just made to be watched by everyone. It's not made. I don't feel like. Well, I think people will probably argue it's made for particular individuals, but like you're saying, it's not necessarily solely for them. Yeah, and I think that's great. How you do it for the adults, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it would take a lot more kind of reflection with more of the adult population of going, well, why not? You know, or like can we not have that built in, or how can we make that work? I don't know. I've not really had much thought on that, but I don't know. It's like do you know Andy Warhol? One of the interesting things about his art was how he was talking about like popular culture and it being so pervasive that it's kind of a leveling field, in that, like when you see the Campbell's meat, the Campbell's, soup and the cola pictures and all that sort of stuff. It's, the president of America is having a cola, but, like the poorest kid in the trailer park is also having that cola. So it's like a pop culture is like a stand, like a leveler in a way. And I wonder how you could do that. I think this does that for all kids, in that everyone can enjoy this entertainment at the same time. I don't know how you would do that for adults, but it's interesting.
No, I mean,
I think I'm getting
differ on
idealized.
Yeah, we might. Well, I mean, we might differ on opinion here, but my perspective would be that there's no necessarily any need to do that for adults.
Yeah,
Like you don't need something to be accessible to everyone for adults. The idea that you can do it for kids is great, but when it comes to adults, for example, my main hobby, my primary hobby is video games. And I absolutely don't believe in accessibility in terms of video games. Like there are some games that I enjoy precisely because of their inaccessibility, that they're incredibly difficult to learn how to play, that you need like 5 years of playing other games just to understand the mechanics. And, I like that. I like those kinds of games.
yeah,
So I understand the need for some inaccessibility as well. It's nice that there can be things for everyone. Obviously, there's all kinds of games that you can pick up and play stuff on smartphones and stuff like that. But when it comes to kids' TV shows, I think it's great that there's something that you can just stick on and it's for everyone. And I don't see any downside to it. The idea of incorporating the sign language is great. And it's, as I've said, I'm interested in learning that sign language myself. It's actually something I spoke to my manager about, if we could have some special training on it.
yeah,
Would be amazing, because it's something that she mentioned as a skill that she actually has. She can use one of the sign languages.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like I said, it's becoming more common, especially in education. You come across people who use it or know it or whatever. And ever since
For
you
a
showed me
language
the Miss
teacher as
Rachel
well,
video,
it just seems so obvious, because we're
Yeah.
we're using gestures, like when we're, especially with low level learners, we're
Yeah.
doing mime and pantomime and charades and gestures and theatrics to convey context and meaning. So why not just have,
Yeah.
while we're doing that, while we're trying to do a new word, we're also doing the gestures for that word. It might not even be related
Yeah.
to them, but it might be something that will kind of go, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's kind of like how you said. It's like gestures plus, and I think that's great.
Yeah. If you are listening, if you're watching, and you have a background in sign language, especially this Makaton sign language, please send us a message at eltunderthecovers@gmail.com. Visit our website, leave a comment, or leave a comment in the comment section below this video or audio, and we'll get back to you. We'd love to have you on the show, and we'd love to learn a little bit more about this. I'm going to leave it with Rich to kind of give his kind of maybe summary or final thoughts as to what he especially liked about this show, or what he would like to see from the show that maybe he'd like to see in other shows. What do you think?
I think significantly, in fact, vastly superior to Captain Kangaroo, and shows us just how poor that show was.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say inferior to Mr. Rogers, but then Mr. Rogers is the archetype of children's edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main man really knows what he's doing. He seems like a very clever chap, and he seems very, very good at what he does. The integration of sign language is great. The writing of the show seems pretty good. I agreed with you about the randomness of the Tumbletown segment. I think it would be nice if that linked in more, because I really like the ideas of things linking in a lot. But I felt that the transitions in the real life stuff were very natural and provided a great context for the learning to take place. So overall, pretty heavily impressed by that. And it's great to see this kind of thing on national TV, actually, because there is a lot of rubbish, and I've seen a lot of rubbish coming out of CBeebies as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see that there's good stuff as well.
Yeah, it's such a stark contrast, this between like Teletubbies or something like that, where it's just junk entertainment.
It's just random crap, yeah. And I've seen some other stuff that's just like colourful blobs going around. It's like, it's just look at the pretty colours kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Get your attention, get your attention, get your attention. It's just, what's the point in that?
Yeah.
Whereas this is actually risky in a way, because, although we do have the super over-the-top Mr. Tumble, there are sections of this where you might think, oh, the fireworks aren't going off. It's just normal people doing stuff for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the thing when someone switches off or goes and watches TikTok or something instead. I don't know at what age kids start watching TikTok, but... so it's a risk, isn't it, to bring it down to earth? But I think the balance is right, and it's good. Yes. Mr. Tumble is the children's television presenter that we need.
Not that we want.
There you go. You can put that and put it at the start. He's the children's TV presenter that we need.
I would actually kind of strike that out and replace Mr. Tumble with Justin Fletcher.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I agree. It's just that I forgot his name, but I agree. It's just Justin Fletcher. Yeah. You could get rid of Mr. Tumble even, couldn't you? And just have Justin Fletcher.
Yeah.
I think the show would actually be better.
Yeah, I would agree. But I understand, and I connect with what you're saying about balance. Maybe there is that need. I would take the risk and say no, there isn't. But maybe that's above his pay grade.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably enjoys playing Mr. Tumble as well.
Lord
Yeah,
knows
people
I
do
do.
get
That's just
attached
my
to these
character every
things,
day.
It's like when the producer comes, he's like, Justin, yeah, I've got good news. You don't need to do Mr. Tumble anymore. It's just going to be about you. We decided that that's the better way to go. And he's like, oh, that's great news. And then goes home and cries for hours.
Yeah, and then
You get
with his partner, he's like, he's like, I've got to have a Mr. Tumble outlet in some life, and he's like,
exactly.
should we head to the bedroom and have a little bit of tumble time? Comes out full costume. Let's see what's in my spotty bag.
You said you just needed to wear the costume in the house because you were going to work. Yeah.
Magic. Okay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications on the next episode that's released.
Come on our show, Justin. Come on. Let's do this. We want to hear from you. Mucho respecto. How do you do it? Mucho respecto.
You say thank you.
Thank you.
If you're looking for more information from myself, you can go to teamteacherchina.com. We've got a whole bunch of materials, PowerPoints that you can use instantly in the classroom. We've got a Team Teacher China YouTube channel where we have videos teaching you how to use those materials. Team Teacher English, where we put those materials into a video form for self-study. And Team Teacher Baby, where I take my experience as a teacher and put that into parenting.
And go to youtube.com/Professor Rich to see some English teaching. You can catch me weekly live streams on Oxford Online English YouTube channel. Oh, and also you can do a YouTube search for POG Space UK, and you would get my alpha version of my new gaming channel, which actually just have some trial content on there at the moment. You can email us here at eltunderthecovers@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to contribute to the show.
Smash that like button, share and subscribe.
And watch 100% of the video and don't click
Exactly.
off. Thank you.
Bye.